Welcome or welcome back. With the release of the Warriors of Chaos army box, it is time to go back to the old world. In this video I'll show you how to paint all 5 armor schemes, using an army painting approach which will take only 3 steps. Before moving into each Chaos God, I'll first go over the Undivided black armor, starting with a very dark grey, so to leave the actual black as the shadow color. Once the base coat is applied, I'll move directly to highlighting with a dark metal color. Using a sponge, I'll be able to catch the edges, avoiding the recesses, as well as creating a battle damage look on the flatter panels. Everything will be tied up together with the wash, for which I'll use some black acrylic paint diluted with water. This wash will set on the recesses, creating pure black shadows, while darkening down the raised details, pushing the dark grey closer to black, as well as making the metallics not as striking. For Slaanesh, I'll do a colored metallic armor, simply by mixing 2 parts dark purple alongside 1 part metallic paint. For shadows, I mixed a dark purple oil wash. This type of wash is known for running into the recesses much better than other types of washes, due to its low surface tension. This way I can avoid staining the flatter panels and raised details, so to keep that tinted metallic look. For more information about this type of wash, please refer to my oil washing masterclass, where I share all the pros and cons of this technique. To highlight, I'm using the same colors as the base coat, though making it a 1-to-1 mix. This will simply be applied using the dry brushing technique, removing most of the paint on a paper towel before lightly running the brush against the raised details, so only those can catch the little paint still left on the brush. For Nurgle, I'm using a desaturated green as the base coat, though feel free to use something more vivid if you prefer. Once the initial base coat is applied, I'll stipple a mix of the base tone and a lighter green. For it, I went back to using a sponge, so to create a weathered look. After going over all of the armor, I'll use the pure light green for a second pass of chipping and highlights. I'll be removing more paint than I did before from the sponge, so to keep this highlight lighter than the previous one. Two parts of dark brown was mixed with 1 part base tone, and diluted to a wash consistency to finish the armor. This wash will both provide me with dark greenish brown shadows, as well as blending and tinting my highlights to a dirtier tone. For Tzeentch, I'll do a very similar process as with Slaanesh, but this time I'll tint my metallics using inks instead of acrylic paints. The difference will be that inks, having a higher pigmentation than acrylics, will yield a higher value result with the same 2-to-1 ratio. For the shadows, I once again opted for oil washes for the similar reason as before, to keep the rich tinted metals. And while I use a dark blue here, a purple would have also been quite interesting. To highlight, I once again use the dry brushing technique and a 1-to-1 mix. For Khorne, I once again went for the tinted armor, mixing 2 parts red ink and 1 part dark metallic paint, since I didn't want it to be too striking. A brown was used for the shadows, and in this case I mixed my oil wash a bit thicker than before, so to get a bit more paint on the flatter panels and make the overall look a bit dirtier. For highlights, I used the initial dark metallic paint and applied it in the same manner as with the Undivided black armor, though by leaving it for last I aimed to create the look of freshly chipped armor that has recently seen combat. Even though these models had some chainmail and clothing in between the armor beads, for an army painting approach it is unnecessary to paint every single detail, just as the back of the capes and hard to reach areas behind the shield were left simply in black, and that doesn't detract from the overall look. I hope you found the video helpful, and as always special thanks to my patrons, but also to you for reaching this far into the video. If you'd like to see more Warriors of Chaos content or Old World in general, do let me know in the comments. But that'll be all for this week.